Let's talk about how do you integrate games into learning. There's several different ways to think about integrating games into your learning environment, and it's really important to do that. The research is pretty clear that if you put games over here and say, yeah, when you have some free time or whatever, go learn the game, or here's the main content, but the game's over here, that it really doesn't lead to the desired learning outcomes. So if you want to integrate games into your learning system, you really need to think about making them core to what you're trying to do. So there are several times in the gaming system, in the learning system, where you want to add games. So one of the places where you can add games very effectively is at the beginning of a session. That does a number of different things that really help with the learning. One is it gets people excited. If you've ever gone into a room and talked to people, when you started training, it's kind of, they're kind of quiet and kind of looking dour, etc. But if you introduce a game, the energy level goes way, way, way up. Same thing with an online course. You start it with a game and energy just goes up. So consider using a game to start off your instructional elements or your instructional module. It really makes a difference. And what that does is it allows people to become excited. It helps them focus on the content that you're teaching them and really gets started with kind of a bang, if you will. And also, if the game is kind of difficult or people are a little struggling with it, this is learning opportunities. So you can later on in the instruction go, remember in the game when a lot of people struggled with this? Well, that's because you needed this information or you needed to apply this kind of skill. So you're actually creating this sense of, there's something I don't know or something I need to find out. And then the instruction can address that gap. And that's really kind of critical. Another place where you can use games in the instruction is kind of in the middle of the instruction. So people have gotten introduced to it, they're going through, you're covering a number of things, and maybe you want to reinforce a point, or maybe you think that it's time to kind of coalesce content around the game, or give people a common experience that they can talk about throughout the instruction. Oh, remember in the game when this happened? Oh yeah, I remember when this happened, or those types of things bring the group together, either online, socially with texting or messaging, or in a classroom setting. So using a game in the middle of instruction can be really helpful for focusing the learners, refocusing the learners, and giving them a common experience. The third place where you can integrate a game into your learning experience is at the end. And at the end, what happens is you can use it as a culmination. So you've taught all this content, either again online or in kind of a stand-up workshop, bespoke kind of environment, and now it's the cumulative exercise. You have to apply everything that you've learned to this particular game to get the winning outcome. And that requires learners to synthesize information, to take a look at different elements of information, and to apply that information. And what we want from game-based learning integrated into our curriculum is for the learners to apply what they're learning. A game situation is a good way to practice that application. And then when they go out and to do the job or wherever they happen to go, they're applying and transferring what they've experienced in the game to the actual learning system itself. Now, no matter where you're providing the game in the integration of your learning environment, you want three elements. You want to provide first kind of, this is what you're going to look for in a game. This is what's going to happen when we play this game. Then let them play the game and then debrief them from the game. And you can do that easily in a workshop environment, but you can also do that online. So for example, we had this game to teach sales skills, and the first game started out with like a little scenario about what was happening, where you're going to go, who you're going to sell to, etc. And then we asked the sales rep who was playing the game, okay, you're going to go into this environment. What three things are you going to try to accomplish? What things are you going to try to find out about the client? What things are you going to try to match between our product and what the client's needs are? So we gave that kind of pre-thinking about the experience. Then they played the game experience. It was a branching kind of simulation game. And then at the end, to have that reflection, since there wasn't a live instructor there, what we did was we actually had kind of an interviewer come in as part of the game and say, okay, you were in that environment and it was really kind of crazy, and can you tell us three things that you did that you thought were successful? Can you tell us two things that you did that you thought were not as successful? So what we were actually able to do was have the learner reflect on the gameplay experience. And that's really an important part of it. So when you're developing your training experience for the learners, make sure that debriefing is in there. You integrate the game into the curriculum, and you integrate the debriefing into that process as well, and you'll get the most valuable outcomes from the learning that you develop. So make sure that you integrate games into your learning. Do it because it's engaging, do it because it's educational, instructional, and because you get great learning outcomes.